Howdy folks, this is me, Daniel East 1000, in search of my top 12 most wanted Star Wars The Black Series figures. All a part of the community effort within the Black Series FIGGIE collector fandom. Yes indeed, 3 3/4 inch, you've had your turn, you've had last figure standing. Hasbro have been on a roll with Black Series figures as of late in terms of both quality and character selection. Not only that, Star Wars is such a breadth of media and content of things they could and indeed should do in terms of characters. Black Series is still a relatively new figure line in all intensive purposes. It's still very much in its infancy, at least comparatively to how long 3 3/4 inch has been going, let's be honest. And as such, whittling it down to 12 characters is very much a challenge. A challenge that Siflord229, myself and RoboQuiff Collects have been attempting in a very recent lot of live streams that we've been doing on Siflord229's channel. If you haven't checked out any of those live streams, if you've got a lot of time spare, very nice to put on in the background, I must admit, especially at night if you need something to send yourself off to sleep. We run through a plethora of different Star Wars media and figure picks for the Black Series that we'd like to see. This is difficult for me because this is me putting what I want to see out there. So by all means, judge away, that's completely fine. This is just what I personally would like to see in the here and now. Granted, there's lots of figures I'd love, so getting it down to a top 12 was quite a challenge in itself for this video. Star Wars The Black Series Most Wanted, I believe, will be officially going live on December 1st, so be sure to follow the Instagram page. I will put a link in the description down below, and there's also the tag there for you to follow, keep up with what's good, and again, get those votes in. It's going to be a great way for the community to share their wants and desires within the figure line. And it's going to be really interesting to see everyone coming together in a positive manner, sharing what they love about a galaxy far, far away. And that's really what it's all about. It's not about berating each other's lists, although I'm perfectly fine with a bit of ribbing on some of my picks. But it's all a bit of fun. And hopefully it's helpful in some capacity to the Hasbro team in what they should maybe do next. So by all means, don't follow the crowd, put your 10 pence in. And you never know, it might align up with other people's or inspire other people as well. It's a very exciting time to be a Black Series collector. There's so much possibility. So with that out the way and done with, let's get into my top 12 Star Wars The Black Series figure wish list. At number 12, Ochi of Bastoon. Now, I know there's a lot of sequel trilogy haters out there. I can completely appreciate this, but for me, I would love to see Ochi of Bastoon be made, particularly in terms of his comic book look, but I'm sure there'd be a way for Hasbro to do it where they could please the best of both worlds and have an armour overlay, so you could have it as the film version of Ochi with an interchangeable head and the, well, comic book look of him, of which is incredibly badass, I have to say. I really want to see more sequel trilogy love. Maybe I might fall into the small minority there, but that's just me echoing my opinion. I don't think this one is too likely to be made, but who knows, stranger things have happened. At number 11, Sam Wesell. This one completely baffles me as to why it's not been made yet, purely because we've had, well, it's getting on 3 versions of Jango Fett now. He needs his bounty hunter accomplice to join him, and the accessories with this one will be absolutely amazing. You've got her sniper, her little pistol, but then an interchangeable head so you can go from human to the alien form that she has. And if they really wanted to push the boat out, include the little probe droid. You know, the weird little courier droid that takes the poisonous centipedes. That would be pretty cool as well. It's a really intricate costume when you get into it, and that's why I think it's worthy of being on this list. At number 10, RX-24. Now, I know this one is going to be a very hard sell, but this one would be incredibly easy for Hasbro to do. They have the sculpt for it in the form of DJ Rex. It just needs a little bit of minor tweaking and obviously repainting. But then you've got RX-24. Now this one might be a bit of nostalgia on my part because I have a real affinity for the Star Tours ride. As you'd see in my most recent video that me and Siflord229 put together, a real labour of love. If you haven't checked that out, definitely worth doing so. But we go through why this ride is so special. And I think to have RX-24 in the Black Series would be a nice little centrepiece. A little tribute to what the ride was then. I mean, even if they sold it at Disney parks, for me it's just a fun one that I wanted part of my list. At number 9, Log Ray. Honestly, it baffles me how we haven't had so many more Ewoks made. We've only got 3 so far. Particularly because Log Ray is probably the most iconic one for me, with his little skull hat and medicine man shaman staff. Genuinely, I'd love to see way more Ewoks included in the line, and not just as a Valentine's Day or Christmas exclusive. Come on Hasbro, this one's an easy one because you've got for the most part the sculpt there. It just requires some extra work. While we've had a lot of original trilogy characters already, there's certainly still room for more, and this one's a testament to that. At number 8, Yaddle. Again, you've got the majority of the sculpt there, Hasbro, with the new and improved Yoda figure. Maybe you just need to redo the torso, and of course a new head sculpt, and bosh, you've got it. I really want to see more Jedi included in the line. To be honest, Hasbro have been doing an amazing job for that as of late. We've been really ticking off a lot of Jedi. This would accompany the new Jedi Count Dooku amazingly. If it's not on your radar already, it should be. At number 7, Jyn Erso Imperial Infiltrator. Now, honestly, I think the original Jyn Erso figure is a little bit jank. It could definitely do with an upgrade. However, with that being said, I do like to see the line move forward. This is one they could always go back to, but I'd really like to see the Imperial Infiltrator outfit be made. Just because people then have options display-wise as to how they can have her displayed. Either fully Imperial helmeted up, or as actually as the figure intends to be, Jyn Erso Infiltrator. I think the costume wise on this is a really interesting one, and the various different roles within the Empire that there are, it's just a nice side bonus that you've got Jyn Erso in that guise. You know, it opens up the options for some people to pick up multiples, and that's something that I've fallen down the rabbit hole of recently. It's an incredibly iconic look from the trailer, particularly stands out in my mind having attended Celebration where the trailer was first shown. For me it'd be a nice memento to that. At number 6, Pong Krell. This is a character that people have been yearning for ever since the Clone Wars 3 3/4 inch figure line, and of course his appearance in the Clone Wars. I remember seeing him rumoured on a rumour list all them many moons ago saying that he was coming, and he never did. This would be an absolutely immaculate figure. It would have to be a deluxe. There's no other way that Hasbro could do it. It would just have to be because of how chunky he'd be. A real feat of engineering as well, because he does have 4 arms. I'd love to see it. This would be an absolutely incredible figure. He'd look amazing with some of the other characters as well. Pong Krell is just such a dick in the show. I'd love a figure representation of him finally in 6-inch Black Series, or even indeed in 3 3/4 inch scale. I'm sure many other people would as well. He's a fan favourite. At number 5, really coming in close now, I had to go with Marva Andor. Andor as a TV show I could ask for so many characters from. Even characters that we've already had. To get costume variants for them would be amazing. Just give me anything Andor and I will lap it up like a cat to milk. Although I think cats are actually lactose intolerant. But Marva Andor is a character that is so pivotal to the series and has a very special place for me in terms of a character. At the time when Andor came out, I spoke a little bit about it on our live streams. I've even got the actress Fiona Shaw's autograph on display because of how much that character means to me. I had to write to her to tell her how special that character is. And I would love to see Hasbro do a version of her. Namely, I've gone with the hologram just because it had such a presence. It was such a powerful scene where she's speaking to the people of Ferrix to rise up against the Empire. I'd love to see it where we got a hologram, either be a big chunky thing, that'll be cool, but more realistically a scaled down version of it, but also include B2 Emo, and it might be a little bit gimmicky, but sod it. Include an LED with him so that you can place Marva on top of B2 and it actually illuminate. Marva doesn't even need to be articulated, it can just be a static piece and I will be happier than a pig in shit. I know some other people might disagree with me on that, but that's how simple it could be. Marva Andor, man, I just love to see her made. At number 4, this one was one that I really thought we was going to get. We had the carrot dangled to us many moons ago, just after Last Jedi came out. Luke Skywalker, astral projection, force projection would be absolutely amazing, especially now with the technology that Hasbro's got for articulation, head sculpt, soft goods, all that shebang. It would be an amazing figure and well worth the wait now to finally get the most definitive version of that Luke Skywalker. I know, again, everyone has their own personal opinion on the sequel trilogy, and that's fine. If it's not for you, this is my list. I was left breathless in the cinema seeing that scene, and to get a figure of Luke from that would just be absolutely amazing. Now, if they really want to push the boat out accessory-wise, it would be such an incredibly small detail, but include the dice of Han Solo. That would be awesome. It just needs to be a small little accessory, include the lightsaber obviously and blade and effects if they wanted to go down that route, but that tiny accessory would just be chef's kiss. It's tragic how we've at least not had that figure. Gregory Titus teased it. Come on, let's make it a reality. At number 3, I had to include a video game character, and the one that sticks out in my mind always is HK-47, the wisecracking and slightly maniacal droid companion that you obtain in both Knights of the Old Republic 1 and Knights of the Old Republic 2. Again, you're killing two birds with one stone there, Hasbro. Let's get it done. This is just simply a fan favourite character for a lot of people, including myself. Scratches the itch for me because I want to see more droids in the line, and indeed a variety of droids. This one fits the bill because he's an assassin droid. You could kit him out with the various different weapons that you pick up from Mount KOTOR. For me, it's the rule of Kung. He just looks awesome as a character. He's awesome. I mean, once you've got that version of him made, you've got that sculpt there to recast it in silver plastic and do the silver version of the droid that we see in Knights of the Old Republic 2. Even if you have to put him out as a builder figure, I wouldn't be object to that. And that's something I do slightly miss as a Star Wars collector from the legacy days of 3 3/4 inch. If we could see a return to the builder droid format, that'd be pretty nice. Just throwing that idea out there. HK-47, let's have him. At number 2, I am completely cheating with this one. The Knights of Ren. How the hell have we only had one Knight of Ren and not the rest of them? Criminal. Because they were the most hyped up thing from Star Wars The Force Awakens right up through the whole sequel trilogy. It's the rule of cool. They're badass. Even people who don't really like those films, hopefully I get some backup with this, like the Knights of Ren just because visually they're freaking badass. I'd love to have a full group of them on my shelf. Heck, even re-release the one that we've had. Just get them out some way. Because they're all so very different. They all have different weapons, helmets, overall looks. They're just absolutely intriguing to look at and would really have a shelf presence, particularly with Kylo Ren. And if you did so choose to really go all out, do Ren himself. But for me, Knights of Ren, tragic, even more so than Luke, that we haven't had the full group. We've just had a tiny little taster, and that same goes with Vintage Collection as well. We've just had a tiny taster with them and not the full shebang. Criminal. It's their time to shine. Out of all the sequel trilogy characters, they're the ones I think that are most justified to be made in Black Series. Come on, comments, please back me up here. And finally, at number 1, this is a figure that I have lobbied for so much in our live streams and in my last video. Dirge is just one of the most badass bounty hunters in Star Wars. Ever since he was introduced in Clone Wars, I've been absolutely enamoured with him, and this would be a chunky figure. Again, this one would need to be a deluxe figure. If they really wanted to go all out with it, I wouldn't even be object to saying do it as a made-to-order deal like they've done with some of the Marvel Legends figures, because I would want them to go all out with this guy. I'm talking the jetpack so you can actually have it fold out, the ball and chain thing that he twirls around, his blaster, removable helmet and actually show that ugly ass face he's got underneath. And not only that, but include interchangeable arms and body parts so you could have all that grotesque, slimy appendage from where he's regenerating, the gauntlet shields that he has. Even include some blaster effects, an alternative chest piece so you could actually have Obi-Wan's lightsaber sunk into his body. That would be absolutely incredible. There's so much Hasbro could tap into with this guy. In my head, it would probably be one of the best Black Series figures, if they did it right, to exist. A real standout piece. But with me overhyping it in my head just to get the character in some capacity would be amazing. It would be a dream come true for me. When I think of the most dangerous character in the Star Wars galaxy, all that comes to mind is Dirge. It's time, Hasbro. We've got the Clone Commander Obi-Wan to go with him. We've had that for ages now. He scratches that itch of weird Star Wars that I adore. So that's it. That's my picks. Be sure to follow the Instagram page. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people suggest and what figures they'd love to see made in the 6-inch scale. The superior scale. I jest. Let me know what you guys think, and indeed, share your picks in the comments down below, and don't forget to send your refined lists in on December 1st. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give us a thumbs up and a cheeky subscribe. We've got some other content down here for you to check out as well. And well, this is me, Daniel East 1000, signing out, and thank you very much for watching.